but there is going to be a lot of differences in the quality than what you would have paid for something that's less expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that. Same thing with cars.
Yeah,
Right?
cars,
Same
exactly.
thing with, same thing with houses too. I mean, if you look at like, when you go buy a house, um, you know, are you getting linoleum for my countertops?
Mhm.
You know,
Or granite,
carpet,
right?
or are you getting hardwood floors and you know all that? So yeah, I mean, there's always a difference in some things.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my point though. Is like I hear what you're saying though. Like for it. I mean, I don't mean specifically for grocery stores, but in general, so, you're right. Sometimes you pay the same thing or pay more for the same exact crap, right?
well,
Whereas,
you know what? I have a perfect example for that.
okay,
All right, so you go out of town and you need a place to stay,
okay,
and what do you get? You get a place to stay that is kind of like a big bedroom with a bed in it and a
uh-huh,
bathroom, a dresser, a closet, a TV, a workstation. Right? Not much different unless you go into like a suite with the couch and um, if you want to do that or whatever, right? But
yeah,
normally, what you go there and it's a bed, the TV, and everything, right?
uh-huh,
And so, but even though it's just a bed, a TV, a dresser, and everything, there's huge differences based on how much you pay. Uh, it might just all be a bed, a dresser, and TV, but there's a lot more into it. The more expensive places, the mattresses, uh, totally different. The bedding, totally different. You know, the amenities, completely different. And I used to like, when I first had gotten married a long time ago, at first I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna sleep there anyway, right? It doesn't matter.
hmm
Well, then after I got that one job and I started staying in the more, through work, the higher end hotels.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I was like, oh, I'm like, no, this is where we're going. Yeah, it's more money. I don't care. And yeah, there's a huge difference, dude.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I mean, even if you look at like something as simple as like a Motel 6 compared to like another, like a mid range one of the Courtyard, right? So you got Motel 6 compared to Courtyard, right?
hmm
Yeah, there's a big difference there, right?
Right.
Well, the Courtyard compared to, the Marriott Courtyard compared to an actual Marriott is another huge step. Like, yeah, I'm just telling you, when I travel, um, yeah, I'm getting an expensive place. That's it. I
Right.
ain't, I ain't doing the cheap stuff no more. It's such a huge difference, uh, you know, in everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't know if you travel a lot or if you stayed a lot of places overnight out of town or not.
I had somewhat like I've been to Europe and whatnot, but I haven't traveled in a while though. But I enough to know what you're talking about though.
Right. And if I could afford it, like even like traveling like on a plane, I mean if I could afford it, yeah, throw me in first class. Huge difference. There's a huge difference between first class and coach.
Yeah, there is
Huge difference.
leg
Same
room for
thing with,
one.
what's that?
Leg room for one. I mean, you're all
Yeah.
cramped.
I don't know. Have you seen the new planes that Virgin's coming out with? Oh
No,
my
what do those look like?
oh my gosh. They got like three different classes. They got coach, mid, I don't know what they call it, mid something, mid class or something like that,
Uh-huh.
and then first class. Right. So coach is actually they redid it and has uh, new seats. Everybody has their own TV or whatever, and 18 inches of legroom. So they gave them more legroom than any other plane, which is awesome for coach. Mid range is they have more space and bigger TV, I guess, or something. And their chairs can fully recline or something like that. And then you have first class. It's a fucking bar.
Nuh-uh. Really?
It's a lounge. It's a fucking
Nice.
lounge.
Right on.
And in first class, there's a lounge, but your area is kind of secluded, and it turns into a bed with your own like
No way.
screen TV, like
Wow.
your own little area compartment.
Uh-huh.
That like your the two chairs lay down to make a bed. So you crash there or God knows whatever, Mile High Club, whatever.
Right.
And, but then there's the lounge. So there's an actual bar. You just go fucking hang out at the bar while you're flying.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Way back.
Yeah.
Right on. Be traveling in style.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know how much those tickets are, but I mean, if I could afford it, that's the way I'd do it.
What about like I wonder if it's I've never tried this before, but like what if you were like with a bunch of people and just like rent a private jet? Like I wonder if that would be cheaper if everyone chipped in than like doing it the other way.
I don't know because depends on the gas. I mean, it depends on how far you're going. Because the way the jets, and then there's that whole thing. Do they usually actually use fuel? Right? I don't know. It's a whole rabbit hole. I didn't get down, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, it's kind of like you know going in on a limo or a rental car or something. I guess, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
No.
You go on a cowboy field trip, right?
Well,
Like we all rent it like a bus or something, and then go to
well, I'd
Tahoe or
say,
something.
well, you live out here in Cali. I'd say what we do is we rent a uh, RV, big old
Right?
fucking
Oh yeah,
RV,
that'd be fun.
and we'll just do the tour of the United States and visit everybody that from YouTube,
Yeah, that'd be heck of fun.
right? And we'll have to do some kind of like a YouTube, we'll like everywhere we go, we'll do a live stream with the person that we go to,
Uh-huh.
and of course we'll have to do like donations to pay for the travel, but I don't know, that'd be pretty cool,
That would be
right?
awesome. Heck yeah, like a road trip.
Right.
Yeah, that would be cool. Totally awesome.
What's
It,
up, Therium? Therium. Right on.
I haven't traveled in a long time too. It'd be fun. I've never been
Yeah,
to New York. Have you ever been to New York, Cowboy?
I have not. I've been, it's one of the states I have not been to. Well, I can rattle off a whole list of states I've been to. I probably be easier to say the states I haven't been to, but New York is one of them. Uh, you know, I would love to go to New York. I always said this. I always make a joke, and I think this is my dry sense of humor. So just know it's dry sense of humor. I gotta say it up front on this one because people have got offended on this before. I'm like, man, if I go to New York, um, my trip is not going to be complete unless I get mugged on the subway. Like,
Right. Right.
to like have somebody steal my wallet on the subway. Damn it! Or this is not New York, right?
Right. Yeah, you don't get the full experience. It's like when in Rome, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
How many states have you been to? You think?
I've been to not a whole lot. I've been to Arizona, um, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada, Oregon, um, and California, and that's it.
Okay, right on.
I've seen the Grand Canyon though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been to the Grand Canyon. Took my kids there. It's breathtaking. I tell you what, man. I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, I'm gonna go there and be in awe. I'm like, it's a freaking hole in the ground. Like, it's a canyon.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, shit was breathtaking, man. It was like, wow. It was a wow factor. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's nowhere else like it on Earth. I mean, like it, but not the same thing.
Yeah.
Have you been to? Have you ever been to San Antonio, like the Alamo and all that?
I have not been to San Antonio. Been to Dallas.
I've been to
And
Dallas too. They got
yeah,
Whataburger out there. They're all about Whataburger in Texas. And,
yeah. I've driven through Texas before, but yeah, I've never been to San Antonio. What I want to do is I want to go to a Cowboy game at the new stadium. Man, they got see. I do it this way. Like they got a hotel at the stadium.
oh, cool!
What?
Right on. Nice.
Oh, yes, sweet. Like when I took my kids to Disneyland, my family.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking at the price and I'm like, what? Rent a car, stay out here some cheap hotel to save how much money? Oh, hell no. We stay at the Disneyland hotel. Yeah, it's more money. So what? We get into the park an hour early every day, and we don't have to rent a car, and we can take the shuttle, the little light rail thing, whatever they got.
The monorail.
Right into the middle of the park, right back to our hotel. So we'd be like, the kids want to go swim in the middle of the day. It's hot. We go get on that thing. We go back to the hotel. The kids swim. We get back on that thing. We're back right in the middle of the park. I'm like, yeah, that's how I roll, man. I'm not looking for. I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it right. I'm not like I'm like not into looking for the. Yeah, I can get like a discount on it, sure, but I'm not gonna be like, I gotta go through like hoops because I saved $50. I remember these guys I worked at in my last job. They used to crack me up. They would spend every lunch hour digging through the yellow pages. This is quite a while ago, before phones and all that crap. Back in that was back in the mid '90s or something like that.
Okay.
And boy, they would just sit there and they would go through the yellow pages and they would call 20 different places every day to find a part for their car because they work on cars. That's what they do. Buy cars, work on them, and resell them. And to find like a part, and then they would spend like all week looking, calling all day, every day at lunch, and they would find one that's the cheapest one, right?
Right.
And they're like, all right, this one, all right, we saved $10 on this one. Or $5 or whatever. It's like something ridiculous. It's a part. So it's not going to be a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
And never mind, it was clear across freaking town, 45 minutes, 30-minute drive.
Right.
I'm like, dude, do you guys realize like how much time you spent researching it, calling, and now you found it cheap, but how much gas and time are you spending to go get it to save the $5? I don't think you actually saved $5. You might have, at the end of it, you might have saved, I don't know, $1 or $2.
Well, there's that.
Not even counting your time.
Yeah, your time's worth something. If you figure, even if you're working like making $20 an hour or 10 or 30, whatever it is, you multiply that times the time you spent calling and driving down there, then that's you're, even if you technically save $5-10 or whatever, you really kind of lost it time wise, because time is money, really.
Right. Well, and the thing is, it's like, let's say it's like 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Right? I mean, and gas, yeah, it was cheaper back then, but it still cost you more in gas money to go get it. That's eating out of your profit, and then your time. I mean, you want to get this car fixed to resell it, right? So you can get onto the next car or whatever. So I
Right.
mean, they don't take any of this into account for $5. I mean, literally, I think that what it was, to be honest with you, Mike, was it was something. One of the ones that was so ridiculous, like they saved like something like $2. It was something so freaking ridiculous that I remember. Like five, I could see because back then I think it was like $2 a gallon of gas or something. So it wasn't as, but like it was like $2, and I'm like, dude, you saved $2 on that? Yeah. You're driving. Where are you driving? So Sacramento, right?
Right.
So they're driving from like Rancho Cordova, which is right next to Folsom.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Right?
It's going towards Folsom Town and all that.
Yeah,
That
all
direction.
the way out to Elk Grove. It's like a 40-minute drive. There, one way. I'm like, dude, for $2, I would. There's not. Look, I'm sorry. I'm like one of those guys. Like, I had a girlfriend one time when she walks out and she's like, "Oh my god!" Looking at the receipt, going, "These were on sale for $1.99, and they charge us $2.99."
Hey, Cowboy. Colin made a good point. He said he's sorry to interrupt you, but he says he's dreamt of the alien invasion a number of different times.
I've actually dreamt of the alien invasion back in the early '90s too. That's when it was funny because I had a dream about that in my coworker because I used to have some crazy dreams. She said that, man, you need to make a movie after that. This was like back in the '90s. I was like, it was the biggest sheeple in the world, about voting and everything.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, I had a dream of the alien invasion too.
Let's hear it. You mind talking about it? What was the dream?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. So and very vivid. I dreamed in vivid in color, and what it was is so the aliens, right, came down, and they couldn't live anymore where they were, right.
Okay.
So again, so if you look at it today, that means like they're going to go to hell for what I know what aliens are today. But back then, aliens are coming down. They can't live in where they came from, but they can't live on Earth the way Earth is.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So they have to change the atmosphere and everything about Earth so they can live on Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they did that, then we as humans would die.
Right.
So it came down to that the leaders all got together, and it was this is how it's going to work. We're going to make a hybrid between the alien and the humans and create a new species.
Trippy.
They can live on Earth.
Uh-huh.
The catch is that's the only species that survives. We all die. So you're basically going, I have to die in order for human to live on, and the aliens are going to have to die in order for their to live on. But it's like, so everybody on Earth is going to die. All the aliens that are coming down are going to die, but they're going to mix and intermingle and create a new species as one.
Oh man, that was a trippy dream.
Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got all kinds of thoughts about that. That would make a cool movie, right? By the way. Right,
well, but she's like, man, you need to make a movie out of that, right?
Yeah,
like, wow.
For sure. But maybe Now, do you think that was just a dream, or do you think that that was something prog, future telling thing, or like like how I've heard people talk about. Well, they think that the government has, or what have you, has the ability to like transmit thoughts into people's heads. So,
Mhm.
what was your take on? How do you feel about your dream? Like, what was it? Was it just a dream, or what do you think about it?
Well, I can tell you this: that I've never been into space movies. In fact, I pretty much hate space movies. I wasn't into UFOs. Um, knowing today what I know and how prominent that dream had come back to me once I was awake, that like I had forgotten about the dream. But once I became awake, I found it ironic that that dream came back as if I just had it yesterday. So to
Oh,
me,
it's a recurring dream.
no, I only had it once.
Only once.
I only
Okay.
had it once, but like it came back in my thought, and as if I just had it.
Oh,
Like
okay. So you have a
right,
good recollection of what it was.
yeah, yeah, completely, as if I just had it yesterday. So to me, it's like more of a, it's more for me confirmation
Uh,
when I was tripping out when I became awake and started tripping out. It was like God's confirmation, like, well, I kind of showing you this shit for a while, slowly, kind of like, hey, I feel like, it was more of a like I don't know what is that pre-programming in some things, like God going back, because there's more than that. There's a lot of different ones
like
that
an omen or something for God to say,
like
"Hey, it's a message to you, saying, look, you're on the right path," or "Wake up," or
you're on the
something.
right path and look, aliens are not good.
Okay,
You
a
know,
couple of things I want to talk about with
and,
it. If you
and the other thing too is that it coincides with my huge belief in what AIs are. I think that even trips me out more than anything is how the AIs, in my belief, I don't know if you know this, are vessels, right, for them to survive.
that goes with the dream, though, doesn't it? Right? Like,
Does it? Like,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I've heard other people talk about that too, like where like all the aluminum stuff, they're the chemtrails that maybe that's making the world colder because I've heard someone say that they like their body can't handle it or something. So maybe the chemtrails might be related to making this world more hospitable to them, which kind of has to go with what your dream was talking about. But real quick though, you might want to look at the chat. People like Mandela Mile and Colin are talking a bunch of stuff about alien stuff.
All right, yeah, let me check it out. I dreamt of them fighting in the sky with lasers, all different colors. All right, so this is a common thing, right? The sky was smoky pink, actual smoke from the ground. Um, let's see, Colin says he saw UFOs destroying Sydney Harbor Bridge with lasers. So again, so there's a common set of lasers. So you see how it's kind of weird, right? I
They
mean,
both have the same like visions, don't they?
right? Yeah, I know they already have hybrid. I already know they're the AI. I mean, but when I look back at the dream, I think it had more to do with like, you know, the aliens slash AIs. I think like if we look at the alien suits, this is so crazy,
Uh-huh.
right? Because Aleister Crowley is the first one that drew right what the aliens look like. Right? It was how ironic is that?
He looks it looks like that classic like big eye thing with a big head.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And there's so many eyewitnesses to that, right? So many that who's to say that those weren't the first vessels for the fallen angels? That's
Hmm.
not really their true form.
Hmm.
It's something that they use and
Like a
started doing
like Avatar,
to,
like that movie with the big old blue things that
yeah,
they like
yeah,
that.
right. And coinciding with that is using that for the eventual alien deception where we think they're good, but they're really not. They're fallen angels or what have you. And now you have the AIs, which now they can actually walk amongst us, and we wouldn't even know it, right?
Hmm.
And to me, it's the vessels, I call them vessels because it's where they're jumping into these AIs, and people are gonna think they're machines, which they are, but they host, right, the demons.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I think where scripture comes in,
Uh-huh.
because the one scripture I always kind of tripped on was when he said that you're gonna beg me to die.
Yeah, right. In Revelations.
Right.
Yep.
And you're not. That I always thought, why? What, I mean, I don't understand that. Like, why would you do that? Now, when I look at the AIs as vessels and everything, the technology they're doing to create it so that they don't die, they don't go to hell. They're actually creating their own hell, and they're going to be living
No doubt. Oh my God, I thought the same
in
thing.
this world.
Yep.
Who'd want to live here forever? I guess you would think it's better than the hell that they talk about. But think about this world in a machine, right? That in forever and without the presence of God. I mean, how to me that's hell.
I agree.
And yeah,
Oh my
I'd
God.
be like, you know what? I'd rather just like you stick me in the ground and I don't know anything, and no, I'm stuck here forever, and I gotta, I mean, how? I wouldn't want that.
I thought the same. I thought everything you're talking about is like exactly what Colin says, like transferring consciousness. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have. This is so crazy. They have the technology where they could transfer the consciousness. They took a lady. She was a grandmother and passed away. And of course, what they show us is like, oh, we know that. And it was just a head, right? And they transferred her memory into this into the computer, and then had like a dummy head, or like a mannequin head or whatever that looked like her, but much more advanced than just rubber or whatever. Facial expressions, the sound, they got it so that it sounded just like her, and it could recognize people.
No way.
All of her memory.
I know what you're talking about. It's
and it could recognize, like, oh, my granddaughter.
No way.
Yes.
That's that. It was like a black robot lady. Is you talking about that one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that robot thing could recognize by facial features, like, oh, that's Betty.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
No way. Like did they like program her with thoughts and stuff? Like, is it like or is it? I wonder how they did that. Like, that's trippy to me. I didn't realize that.
I think that's part of the deception they're using, is that they listen to everything we say, right? And they have our face everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put it in a program, and there's program software. Is not a person. Is not a software that does facial recognition. Security, right? So it's just a software within this thing, but they try to make it seem like, see, we can put you in
for sure.
this. And the reality is you can't, because when you're dead, your soul will not go in, because we're either going to heaven or hell. Now, the fallen angels and the Nephilim, that's a different story, right? The Nephilim bloodline, they're never going to go to heaven, right? And those are the ones that are the quote unquote ghosts that enter people and everything.
Let me ask you a question about that real quick. With let's say some Nephilim was born, right? Let's say like today, some angel is like, you know what? Let's get busy with the Earth woman.
No. It's not an angel. The angels are not the ones that are still doing the bloodline's already been set. It's their offspring.
Right.
And they keep the bloodline. They try to keep the bloodlines as pure as they possibly can.
Right.
So in my opinion, I don't think the fallen angels are still down here doing that, because they're they can't. They can, but
it doesn't really matter.
The offspring that they already created
Right. They're trying to keep
They
them
keep
pure.
their bloodline.
Right. Now for those, so are you saying that like, do you think that some humans or that look human anyway in this world are actually bloodlines from Nephilim?
Oh, they run this world. Absolutely.
They do. All right.
Well,
So let me ask you a question. Now, because does if you let's say there's somebody alive that has bloodline that's Nephilim, um, does that bloodline disqualify them from any chance of salvation? Or let's say they said, you know what, I believe so. I'm bailing on the Illuminati or whatever, so I'm gonna try to get to heaven, or is there like ain't gonna happen because of that
no,
bloodline?
so this is why it's not going to happen. Why I believe it's not going to happen because um, the Nephilim or the fallen angels went to God and they begged for mercy for their offspring. Lord, please allow our offspring to at least have the opportunity to be saved.
Yeah.
And he said, no, no.
Is that from the Bible? Is that Genesis or is that from Book of Enoch? Where are you getting that from?
I believe it's the Bible. I've never read Enoch, but I'm not good at the.
Yeah, I'm not disbelieving you, but that to me is profound right there. So, but that kind of coincides with stuff I've already kind of been gathering from different people talking on YouTube stuff too, though. So it kind of makes sense. But I'm just curious. So that they're just excluded. It's just not going to happen. We're kind of changing the subject a little bit here, but it's not really because it's all related because the aliens are like Colin alluded to, they're demons anyway. But or devils or fallen angels, whatever it is, they're related to all that stuff. So if they're if the elites like the Rothschilds probably have Nephilim blood, right? So that they're excluded from salvation. So from what we were talking about, so for them that's their motive. They're like, well, if we're going to hell, then we're going to take as many of these fools with us. So might as well.
Well, I mean,
Right?
I don't know. I think that I don't think that they think they're going to hell. I think they still believe to this day they're going to defeat.
So it's both. It's both.
You know,
Right. They think so. In your mind, what you're saying is, and I think you might be right. Is that I don't know for sure, but you might is that they know they can't go to heaven the other way. So they're like, well, we got to find out. So, but we're going to outsmart God, and we're going to defeat him, or we're going to have some kind of time travel loophole, or some. So it's both. They know they can't get in because they're that. Even if they said, "Forgive me, Lord," and all that, they can't do that. They're excluded. They're not in the will, if you will. So they got.
well, here's the other thing too, Mike, is that they actually think that they've already have kind of outsmarted God, and what they want is they want heaven, and that's where they're trying to take the battle to because they think that they're gonna win, and they want to take the battle to heaven. And the reason why
Right.
they think they won is because they believe that Lucifer, who they believe is their God, is the ones that saved them by giving them the knowledge, where otherwise they're just servants of God, and they look at it like, oh no, our God actually freed us from that. From you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
how they look.
And like Lucifer, he lied to all the other angels too. I'm sure. It's just like one lie leads another to another. It's just amazing. Like all these angels that had that much, they're that close to God, and they're willing to follow Lucifer. He must be one persuasive person. You know what I'm saying? That like convince all these people that were right there. I mean, like for us, we've got to go by faith and all this other stuff. But for them, they were straight up in the presence, and they were like, you know what? Check, please. This isn't what I want. So
Right. And
yeah.
I wonder about that too. Like, you know, we don't really know. I mean, when they did that, were they making a statement and been deceived that, we don't know. Did God say to Lucifer, if you do this, then yeah, you're going to be cast out of heaven forever? Did Lucifer tell the angels that? Did God tell the angels? I mean, we really don't know how it all went down. What we do know is that a third of the angels left. And that had to be a very important reason why, and why they did it in I think it's beyond our knowledge right now to understand why a third of the angels would do
I
that.
don't know, but I have a theory. My theory is this: is that when God, it all has to do with creating Adam. I think because I think what happens when Lucifer was the favorite. I think he was like a spoiled brat, got everything he wanted, right? Before us, he was the big cheese, right? And then when we got created, I think that their job was to be like nannies to us or something. But like you know what I'm saying? And like they were supposed to help out and somehow like and I think that they resented it, and particularly Lucifer, right? And I think that they all kind of felt sort of the way Lucifer felt that third. I was like, yeah, what the hell? I mean, what's up with us? We're chopped liver now. What you know? Why is that? Why is humanity getting the special treatment that we don't get, or something? And
Right,
so,
there's no, definitely something there. But we don't even know like what happened before God created us. Like how did the angels get to be where they were in their presence of the Lord, and how where they were on the chain of command. You know what I mean? We don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff that we don't know
mhm,
that could have caused that. There's something that caused that. I mean, how did Lucifer become the top angel? And
right,
what's the hierarchy within the third that fell? Where were they at? I mean,
mhm,
we don't know. These are things
right,
that we don't know, but
right.
there's more to it,
Uh,
and is not for our understanding because it's probably way too much for us to even deal with. And, we're trying to deal with the little rabbit holes that we do go down.
right. But Lucifer must have been important though, because that third, he was like this cat that like he was basically a disgruntled postal worker or something. He's like, you know what? I check, please. I'm done. And then you know when people do that at a job, they're like, forget it. I'm sick of this. I'm not happy with this
Right?
job. I'm going to quit. And they expect everyone else to quit with them. And then everyone else usually is like, you know what? Yeah, I'm mad too, but I kind of like my paycheck, so I'm just going to stick around here. But
Okay, but
yeah,
here's the other thing too is that we gotta here's a thought, a question. Like, why did God already had heaven and he had all the angels and everything? Um, what made God want to create us? But what what I mean? It's like
mm,
if the angels have free will already
right, right,
and they're already in heaven,
yeah,
what is the purpose?
of us.
And so this is another thought that I've heard before
Uh huh.
was that God knew what would happen if he did this,
Hmm.
and he was discontent with some of the crap that was going on with the angels, right?
Uh huh.
And this was his way of uh, taking care of it. Almost like we're actually kind of like we're just pawns
Yeah, I
in
hear you.
in the chess match up there, and we still have a choice to make it through. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, think about that. I mean, I saw somebody talking about that and it kind of opened my eye to like, well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, like, why would God create this and, all this and then and Adam and Eve fell and wouldn't he know? Yeah, yeah. And then even know, like, we're at, you know what I mean? It's like, so maybe it was, I don't know. It's hard to put your hand on. There's so many different ways to go. And to me, I don't know. I think that it's not for us to know. Just give yourself to Christ, uh, you know, and
That's what to me is what's so fascinating
yeah,
about it, though, is because it's that missing piece that makes it so intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Like it because the other stuff in the Bible, it's fascinating in itself, but I mean, there's always layers to everything. But like the stuff that happened with angels and stuff that we don't know makes it
right.
so much more fascinating to
So
me.
much more.
You know,
Right.
it's the mystery of it, I guess. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
unknown. Right?
I just, let me explain what I always, for whatever reason, what I think I can never find the words for. So forgive me about the word pawns because that sounds like we're not worthy.
Yeah, just
But
what Colin was saying.
there's a purpose. We don't know what that purpose is. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing you said that was intriguing to me, yeah, I hear you. It's like you're just off the cuff, so you're saying things can be interpreted differently and all that. You do the best you can while you're talking, like you being us, we, anybody. But like, one thing you said was interesting to me is like, well, and I've thought about the same thing before too. Is like, well, the angels obviously they had free will because they chose to rebel, right? So like we have free will. So what do we have that they don't, etc. What's different between us and the angels that what gives us our special place or whatever? So I think there is something very special about us. Not to be arrogant, but we were made for a reason, something really important. You know how like all the movies and stuff and are said, hey, we're a little speck in the universe, which leads back to the alien deception, right? So, and you're in a round world of spinning around the universe, so we're a little speck, so we don't matter. When we do matter, when all this illusion and all this the war spiritually that are going around us are because of us. So there must be some important reason for us that's different than the angels. So do you have any idea of what is different about us? Do you have any speculation on that?
I think that's a great point. I mean, I think that's kind of where some of the jealousy comes from. Is like, why would you make them when you already created us? What kind of like, what did we do wrong? I don't know. To me, it's just it's could go in so many different paths and so many different interpretations that you're almost spinning your wheels because I don't think that we'll ever know until the time comes. And so, I mean, there's so much that goes on every day in the spiritual warfare today. The angels fighting today.
I can say one thing's different about us though, is that we have to see God by faith, where they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Where they were there firsthand, so they didn't need to do all this stuff we got to do. So that there's something to that, I think. I mean, but I get you don't want to go too far into it. It's all just making that point.
Well, I mean, another point too, though, on that is that like the angels were right there with God. I mean, in His presence. Lucifer watched Him create us, right? And wow, that's awesome, right? And yet they fell, right? And so here we are. We still are giving ourselves to Christ based off of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And how strong is that? I mean, that's pretty relevant to kind of like what also pisses Lucifer off. Like, how could you, how can you, little peasant, have faith in that I already know exists and you don't?
Right.
Really, off of faith. Really?
Exactly. Right. He's like, what? You little peons. I was right there. I know more about God than you can ever know. Like, I know the words forwards and backwards. And what, the nerve of you little pieces of whatever to think that it must really piss him off, because he's like, what? I did this to you. I took your job from you. I killed you. I brought death into the world. I did all this to you. I brought wars and famine and disease and everything to you, and you still believe, and that must just be soul crushing to him, I would think.
Oh, right. I mean, even though, and on top of that, even though He tempts us every day and we fall into sin, we still, have the opportunity to be saved. Right? Where really he kind of only sinned one major time, I guess, really by, falling from God's grace. And He didn't ever get a second chance, did He?
No,
Never.
Right?
That's crazy. Right? I mean, so how big of that is that? Is that, that never, ever for eternity will he have an opportunity to be saved.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some ice real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, take your time. Angels don't have spark? What's that mean? There are good angels. Yeah, absolutely. There's good angels. Yeah. I'm thankful for the good ones. I'm sure they've helped me out more than once out of a scraper too. spark of God. Amen. Good angels do. Yeah, they probably do. I'm sure they've helped me out quite a few times. Like, have you ever like has there been like a something traumatic, like a car accident or something, and you know something you felt like something protected you through that? You don't think angels have the spark of God, Colin? What's that mean? I don't understand what that means.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, okay, cool. So, if you ever like look into like and with the fake aliens that are really demons that abduct people and stuff, is that about taking our DNA? Is that I've heard people say that's maybe what they're doing?
Oh well, just theories, but I mean, I don't think it was to take our DNA. I think that uh, they're able to get our DNA anytime they want it, from even from birth. So I don't think that's it. I think what it is just the deception that it's another life form. Because if you look at, you know, when the first people started witnessing it and talking about the aliens, um, you know, it was scary, right? And it was, the culture back then was like, it's something from outer space. What could it be? And of course, the people that witnessed it or were abducted or tinfoil crazy people, and there was no way that could have happened. To now, fast forward to today, where aliens are good. Aliens are going to save us.
Oh, right.
Aliens are going to be baptized by the Pope. You
Uh-huh.
see how they just like use it for whatever timeline they're in for their purpose. But it's set forth from the beginning that they're from outer space. We got to keep that lie about space going.
Right.
And, they're obviously it's got to be another species and and all this crap. So this has been going back from all the way back as far as you can go, because you even have hieroglyphics of aliens. So this is not
Nothing
this has
new.
been set forth from the beginning,
Right.
in my opinion. I don't know how is it going to turn out. How is it actually going to play out? Could it be the AIs that are actually the aliens? Could it be the little green man coming down a spaceship? I have no idea. All I know is that I ain't gonna believe it.
It's just, the aliens also remind me of like I'm not the first person to say this, but like fairy tales are the same thing. Like that someone gets taken to the fairy world, and then they kind of get abducted the same way. You know what I mean? So I guess maybe different times and different histories of cultures, they came up with different names for them, like Native Americans and whatnot. Where
Right?
right? So like,
Yeah. No. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, they do that with all of them. I mean, we talked about that with Mothman the other night, and uh, you know, Russia has a different name for it.
oh yeah,
China has a
yep.
different name for it. Um, yeah, same thing. Yeah. I mean, but it's all
Yeah.
the same crap.
Oh yeah, good point. Like the same thing, same um entities or whatever, but they're just called different label for it.
They're called different, and it coincides with like whatever um, maybe that country's religion is. Is it Buddhism? Is it um, you know whatever? So they got to fit the story in, right? Muslim or whatever. They got to fit the story in to
Right.
for the people that believe it, right? For them to buy into it.
Like Collins, right? It's like it's fallen angels or the fairy world too. To so what I'm wondering about though, with the main thing I'm curious about with this stuff is that there's so much that we're learning about that's going to be part of the end game. And I think the end game is probably on the way pretty quick here. But like you got the transhuman thing. You got like you're talking about AI, which is probably the beast that can, it's got the devil gives the power of speech to the beast. Um, and then I'm not sure how cloning fits in, but there's also like your uh, transhuman where your people become part robot or something, and then you have downloading consciousness. And I'm wondering like what their game plan is, which we don't know, but just speculating here. How did the aliens fit into all that? I know that like the aliens, for one, what I mean aliens, quote unquote aliens, they're really demons. They're partly here to say, look, there's outer space is real, so therefore God can't be real because there's outer space and there's other worlds and stuff. So that fits that agenda. But if obviously it looks like they're pre-programming us for some kind of demons to show up masquerading as aliens. So when that happens, I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to have them take over, or is going to be the setup for the Antichrist to create peace with them? And that's going to be that. Look, I brought you all peace in the world, and is that the setup for that?
Kind of from what I understand, and again, I don't know, my opinion, just food for thought, is that when you have aliens that come down, right, extraterrestrial from another planet, another galaxy, whatever, that actually destroys all religions on Earth, not just Christianity or Catholic or Mormons. Every religion, no religion believes it has in their writings of aliens, right? So it actually destroys all religions, and then therefore they're also supposed to come down when and do some crap to save us from destroying ourselves completely and be our savior.
Right.
So it's going to destroy religion, and they're going to save us.
I hear see that.
Heroes and
right.
And now we got the one world religion. It's and who knows what the storyline is going to be behind us. Some people say they're going to come down and say they're the ones that created us.
Yeah, good
right.
point.
And then as far as the Antichrist coming down, I don't know if that's going to be the leader of them or not. What I do know is that do not be fooled. It does say, right, that there's going to be the Antichrist, and then after that, Christ comes, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. How many fake Antichrists are actually going to come before the real Antichrist with like Blue Beam or something like that, right? Where, so all of a sudden it's like they use Blue Beam or something or some other technology, and we think, us smart believers of Christ, I'm not falling for the first one that comes because I know that's going to be the Antichrist. Everybody knows that. It's like everybody knows that. And then the next one comes. And then are we just supposed to jump right on board with that or not? That's going to be the interesting part. Do I think I'm going to be alive when all this happens? Absolutely not. So I don't think the Antichrist is going to be coming in our lifetime. I think there's a lot more of revelations that need to play out before we get to that part. But I do believe that we are kind of definitely in Revelation. I think that our process is starting. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of I kind of think we will be alive. To be honest with you.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I know a lot of people do. A lot of people think that we'll be alive when it happens. But for me, when I think about the whole the mark of the beast, I think that comes. I think that's going to be when there's not as many people on this planet. When it's part of their plan to limit the number of people. Because
you're right. You're right. They plan to like with the Georgia Guidestones and all that, right?
Right. And so to me, I think that now, do I think that we could see the devastation, whatever they're going to be doing with earthquakes and tornadoes and volcanoes or whatever they're going to do to use to depopulate us?
That has to come, right?
EMPs or whatever, whatever they're going to do. I think that that could actually happen in our lifetime. I think that can, but I do think that it's going to be something farther out. And Colin asks, "What do you think the mark is?"
Yeah, what do you think the mark is going to be?
Well, again, I don't think it's been introduced yet because it has to come without deception. You have to be willing to take it knowing what it is. And I think that whatever it is not going to be presented until after all the devastation happens, where people are so desperate. It's not going to be like something introduced today that's going to be cool, because you have to know it's the mark of the beast. You have to know.
Yeah, you have to have that choice.
Right? And it's more deception by Satan that, okay, there's the chip, and we're going to put it in your right hand. And, it could be pre-programming for some people. Or it could be like, let's see how many people actually take it without questioning it. I don't know. But it's going to be something that we don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. At this point, we don't know what it is. Me, anyway, I don't know what it is. I think it's going to be something that comes after they get that population down to where they can control the people and make it to where it's like, look, you're either going to die or you're going to put this.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
And,
right.
And, it's coming from the Antichrist that is the Antichrist. You better bow down to this Antichrist and get this here mark, or you're going to die, or whatever it is. And you're going to have to choose between watching your, dying, or watching your loved one die, and kind of walk away from your walk with Christ. That's in my thought where it's going to be that decisive moment. It can't be deceived. You cannot get the chip. If it is the chip, let's say, and it's not going to work if you don't know it is the mark of the beast. He can't hide it.
Mm-hmm. Got to be a conscious decision.
It can't be hidden. From what I understand from the scripture, is that you have to know you're taking the mark of the beast. Like, not literally like, because there are going to be people that are going to take it that don't have their walk with Christ, but if they don't have the walk with Christ, it doesn't matter whether they know it's the mark or not, because they don't know, right? But you're right. High anxiety is free will, but it also has to be, from what I understand, we have to know, right? Isn't that right? Is it in the? I'm not good at like actual verses, but from what I understand, he cannot trick us. I think it was something like that. He cannot trick us, deceive us into taking the mark of the beast.
I'll ask you about that part though. I'm not sure though, because everything else he does is tricking us. You know what I'm saying? They'll say things, but they'll say it through like sarcasm or something. So they're really telling us, but they're not. You know what I mean? And like if you go back to the first thing with like Lucifer, I could be wrong too, by the way, but like he was telling Eve, you don't worry about it. You're not going to die. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Everything's good to go. So he's been a liar the whole time. So I don't know. I'm not.
I totally, completely agree with you, Mike. That I think that he's going to do everything he can to play those tricks. Absolutely, but I think where it comes back to is like, make sure you're if you're right with God, don't think God's going to like bail on you and not give you discernment and or something like he'd be like, "Oh, here it comes. Is he gonna fall for it or not?" I mean, I think that like he's gonna play as an important role in it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
I
that.
think that for like the people that are really into Christ,
Uh,
um, you're gonna know. You're gonna know. I'm not taking that at all.
and what you're talking about earlier about the about all these people have to die first. I think there's something to that because it's like that the Hygelian dialect or something where they create out of chaos comes order or whatever. So that's probably they probably will have something like that, some third world war or something where they kill off a bunch of the population, like what you're talking about, and then that will make the way ready for someone to come in and say, hey, I've got the solution. Whenever it's all just worn out with war and devastated, and they're looking for someone with an answer. And maybe you're right. That's probably when he'll be like, guess what? I've got the answer. So I'm here to help.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is we spend a lot of time trying to in our minds like, what is it? Like, is it going to be an EMP? Because that'd be pretty devastating in itself, right? Is it going to be, are there really nukes? Is it going to be a nuke? Are those even exist? I don't think they do, but or is it the 5G with the weather? Is it
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Here's the other thing too that the scripture says it's going to be like a weapon of unknown weapon. So whatever it is that's going to happen, we don't know what it is. So whatever these things, these weapons that we know that they're telling us they have, it ain't going to be any of those. That's not going to be. That's not it. It's going to be something that, of course, people, the bloodline are going to know. They're the ones creating it with the help of their forefathers, the elders, but we won't know. It won't be something in. I mean, it will be in a movie. Put it this way: they have to do something to tell us. So
Right.
they'll put it in a science fiction movie, and then some scientists will come out and say, "Yeah, no, this is actually fact or something," and then other scientists will discredit them, but they'll get the information out there. But they do that all the time. And look, they just put a freaking donut in the sky and call it a black hole. Really? Seriously?
Right.
You could take a picture 54 million light years away. You could take a picture.
Right.
And you take a picture of a freaking donut in the sky and call it a black hole. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. All right. Hey, honey.
I know, right? Is that cool?
Good night, girl.
She's cool too. She's pretty smart too, Honey Ann. She brings a lot to the table, for sure. And she's got a ton of knowledge too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like, do you remember the show Lost? You ever watch that?
I think I caught like one episode. It was intriguing in the beginning. I just never like fully watched the whole thing.
I was totally into Lost, and after every episode, I had more questions than I got answers from the previous show, and that's kind of like I think where we are. Like we can sit here and all this information that we have and everything, like the CERN, the D wave, planet, all these different things. I mean, think who's feeding this information, right? They're feeding so many different things. Yeah, maybe one of them is it. I don't know. Or are they just keep throwing all this out and haven't really presented what it is going to be? And there's just so many, it becomes overwhelming to where people, normal sheeple people that just want to live their lives, it's overwhelming and it's too many things to think about. And it's like, they don't even want to, they just give up and they're just like, let me just go to work and do my thing and leave me alone. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to know,
Right.
Because there's, so much out there. I mean, and really, where do we talk about? We talk about in places like here. Really, there's not a huge platforms. There's certainly not anything in mainstream media where we can rely on. And what are we? We're just a small community that mainstream media does nothing but mock every chance they get. Right? Every chance they get on their TV shows, their movies, commercials. You know, look at the commercials. They just mock us, mock us. Like we're just crazy lunatic conspiracy theorists. Every chance they get, it's just because they know that the power is in the numbers, and the more people that are awake, the stronger we get. So yeah, we don't have a foothold. I mean, they shut us down every time, every chance they get, and they just create like what's his name, QAnon, and the other guy that just got arrested with fucking bullshit, fucking psyop dude. What's his name?
Jones, Alex Jones, that guy.
No, he's a joke too.
For NASA or something.
The guy that was in the embassy that just got arrested. That he used to put out secret information.
Oh, not Q. Something else.
Well, QAnon's the same thing. Assange. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
seriously. They do this shit, and they control what information you get, and then suck you into these people like they're truthers. And then at the same time as they're giving you the truth, they're allowing you to know, they back it up with more of their fucking lies and deception. That's how it works. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's fucking actually genius, but it's bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you look at Alex Jones, right? I mean, he was one of the first person I watched. I ain't gonna lie. But I mean, I'm sorry, you're gonna sit there and tell everybody that you're telling everybody the truth. You're a truther. You're going to give them all this truth about the Bohemian Grove that you got into somehow, or all this shit, and then sit there and shove politics down our throat that you have a choice and go vote for this guy compared to, man, right there you lost me, dude. That's it, man. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That was it. Like, seriously, that's it. Like, done. Anybody pushing your vote, that's an easy one. That's like chemtrails. You might as well get on there and deny chemtrails. Seriously.
Yeah, right. Hey, just like turn in your truther badge.
Right. And then that whole thing with Sandy Hook. I mean, how can anybody look at Sandy Hook and actually think that actually happened? There's more evidence it didn't happen than it did.
Actually, Ron Sheckelson put up some pictures about that. I think like he was on some other platform. It wasn't Twitter, but something like that. And they took it down right away. They really don't want that kind of stuff out. I think he showed like pictures of the victims like older that shows that they didn't die. You know what I mean? The crisis actors that were involved with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. Sandy Hook, but like all this stuff is just in layers of deception. I agree. I think you're right.
But I mean, that's what they do. I mean, look at so if you look at like QAnon and Assange, I don't know if I'm even saying that right. Right, what do? They spill some beans about how they're the pedophilia, which that's old news. They just they throw it out there once in a while. They never do anything about it, and then it goes away. And like a Pizzagate, boy, where'd that go? You think where's Podesta? He's not in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So what was all that for? Right? They just throw these little things out there, and then at the same time, he's pushing left and right, and vote for who and vote for who. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. They're all on the same fucking team, man. Right?
Right.
I mean, seriously, it's like, wow, you don't even have a choice.
I wonder how far back all that stuff goes too, because like the Illuminati goes back to at least like 1776, but certainly some of this stuff goes all the way back to the beginning, really. So, but I'm wondering, like, well, there was the Tower of Babel, and then they had like flood and all that to kind of get rid of all this stuff. But
Actually, I think it goes all the way back. Well, I think it actually goes all the way back to the beginning. But I think that if we look actually the first, from what I understand, the first formed secret society was when the first city, under the rulership of, I believe, Nimrod.
Nimrod. Okay, back to the tower and all that.
Yeah. So this is like, and again, the reason this is why I went with the whole Nephilim bloodline. They've been in charge of this. Their bloodline's been in charge of this from the beginning, and they've been, because we live on Satan's domain, right? So this is his offspring, or his fallen angels' offspring, are going to be the ones in control of it. Who else would be, right? I mean, and this is his domain. This is his cosmos world, man. This is where we live. Why wouldn't they be? And that's why you look at all the presidents, and how ironic they all lead back to each other. How ironic that they're all related. Mm-hmm. Really? Oh, what a coincidence. No. Seriously? Come on, man.
Right. What would be the odds of that? That kind of,
right?
But that means, at least as far as back as the country, however old it is, that all these presidents were they're part of the whole deception. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing that why I think the presidency part is so easy, because if you look at like any of the rabbit holes that you can go down, whether it's flat earth, whether it's hoaxes, false flags, you name it, like all of them, right?
Chemtrails,
vaccines, the presidents, global warming, right? All the you watch every president get up there, and what are they doing? They're backing it up. They're right there backing up the lies.
Right. Well, they're certainly not never doing anything about the Federal Reserve, right?
Right. Well, the Federal Reserve is all that is just another psyop. There's no fucking money, man. There's a problem. It's the banks, the government, the IRS. Right? It's a loop,
mm-hmm.
and they just it's just it's not even physical. And what they do is they just make money off as it goes through the loops, and we just pay into it. That's all we do. We pay it and pay what? With a piece of plastic, right?
Right.
I mean, and we work for something, a number that goes into our checking account, and then we can use this piece of plastic to use it till that number goes down. Where is that money at? Where it's not physical. We don't have. They don't have. And then how trillions of dollars in debt. I'm sorry. How come I have the IRS coming after me because I owed taxes, and the government's trillions of dollars in the hole, and they get to keep spending money?
Yeah, no doubt.
Wait a minute. That ain't right, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, so do you think, just go back to the alien thing again here real quick, if do you think that maybe the Antichrist would be an alien? Like that's the one that's going to come save us, or something? Like, I mean, quote unquote save us. The guys. So there'd like a big war, like you said, like 9/10 of the population killed in famine or war or what have you, and then they're the ones that are going to come down in the spaceship saying, "Guess what? I'm really your God, and I'm here to save you," or I made up all this stuff or something, or they could say that, huh? Like well, actually, we wrote the Bible, we wrote Buddha, and that's actually our things, but you guys got it down wrong. you took everything down wrong. So we're going to straighten you out with what we really meant by all that stuff. So
well, yeah, I think now do I think it's gonna if he's gonna be alien or something, but I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. Whatever it is, it's gonna be part of it. But I think just going back to like what somebody said earlier, Planet X, because that's another thing they keep throwing at us, right? Planet X. Now, I don't know if you ever seen any looked into Planet X. I don't believe there is a Planet X, but I'm just telling you like what they're saying Planet X is.
okay.
Planet is a planet that comes within our system every whatever timeline, and every time it comes around on Planet X, are our creators, aliens, whatever they are, and then what they do is that they come to Earth while they're close, give us new information, new technology, and basically we're just here on Earth working in, like mining for them, and they're slaves. They come, they grab their resources they need as they come by. They give us new technology, and then I don't know if you looked into that. How crazy is that, right? How crazy is that? Like, so people would rather believe that than God, right? In the Bible, that always trips me out. Some of the things like that.
Yeah,
But
you're right. You're right. It's kind of how they're programmed, though, right? Because all the media is telling them, oh, it's Christianity is stupid. It's a fairy tale or whatever they're going to say. But I guess they use science a lot to condone things like that, right? That's the propaganda tool. It will scientists say, there's probably life in a billion places or whatever. And then people, oh well, science said it, then that's legitimate. But the Bible can't be right.
yeah, and I don't know if the Antichrist column is actually going to come
To Antarctica.
Blue beam first, or a spacecraft, or Antarctica. I have no idea. I mean, that's all great thoughts or great opinions. But I do know Antarctica. There's something going on over there. There's definitely something over there that they don't want us to know.
Yeah, without a doubt. I've heard people say that maybe there's like that's where these angels are trapped or something. The fallen angels, that is. And they're going to be let loose from there, or maybe there's some gateway to like below the earth that these things are going to be released, or maybe it's like a gateway to hell or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, everything about Antarctica has always been a mystery, and hidden. And all like why would all of like all the places Antarctica is like, look at it, right? It's you can't even live there. You can't even, right, unless you're in like this enclosed thing, like almost like a space camp, right? It's almost like space, right? You can't even live normal life there. You can't, right?
Right.
Or so they tell us, anyway.
Right.
Because of course we can't go there. We don't really know. But let's say we actually took their word on that. For whatever reason, we decided to believe them on this, right? Why would all the countries agree that that would be the place that nobody has the right to? Yet you have all the major leaders and all the highest, like the Pope and the other guy went there. The other leader from the other religion went there, and
like from Islam or something, or
yeah, the one that they didn't get along, whatever, and they finally hung out together. Stupid crap. Anyway, I mean, why? And they tell us they're going there. They're jealous, but nobody even gives a shit. It seems like they don't even question. Like, well, wait a minute, why did you go? What the hell were you doing in Antarctica?
Right. It's supposedly a bunch of snow, so why would they care? And let's say if it was just a big pile of snow with some penguins on it, like someone with a yacht's gonna be like, you know what? Let's take a trip to Antarctica. Like if it was just nothing there, why would they be worried about it? You know, I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
Right. You cannot even go. I mean, like, I mean, I've heard people say, well, just go. Who's to stop you? Well, yeah, go. And like, yeah, go to Area 51 and just like jump the fence, see what happens.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What'd you find?
Yeah.
Nothing. The jail cell. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, why would they all want to go there? Why would all the countries that, agree that nobody gets to own it? It's just a big, desolate, frozen tundra, a desert. It's a frozen desert. Yeah. And so what does that tell us? There's a lot more to it.
Yeah. It sounds like Colin seems like he knows a lot about it. He seems like he's done a lot of research on all this stuff. He was saying that, did you know this? What he's saying? He's saying that Buzz Aldrin said that we are in great danger of pure evil being in Antarctica. Have you
Mm-hmm.
heard? You heard? That's news to me. I didn't know anything about that.
He came back. Buzz came back from Antarctica. Was it calling a tweet he did or something on that, and was freaking out? And then, of course, the follow up on that was, oh, it was a hoax. He didn't really say that. He didn't really mean that. No, well, I don't know what. Beyond the text or the Twitter he did, dude had like a nervous breakdown. They had to like fly him out of there. So whatever happened, whatever he came, whatever, So I don't know. I think.
Of course, he's a Freemason too, right? Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. So, yeah, he had to be emergency evacuated. That's right, Colin. And he tweeted like, "What the hell?" Like, so I think they kind of enlightened him, like, what the hell's going on over there. I don't know why they thought they needed to show him that. I don't know. Maybe because he was part of the NASA lies or something. I don't know. But there's so much to it. And, the problem is that if you do any research on Antarctica, not really a lot out there of other than really thoughts and views, because it's so. When's the last time anybody's ever been just to go to Antarctica?
What about this? What about like, I'm just thinking out loud here, but like, what if we like made some like super duper like high powered drone that had like a ton of fuel, and then just got close enough to where we could just fly it over Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? Like covertly. You know what I'm saying? Like try to beat radar and get something to fly over there and just have it simulcast on YouTube or something, so people.
Well, I'll tell you this: you wouldn't even be able to do that Area 51.
50. Well, they probably shoot out of the sky there, right? They see it coming.
Right, and Antarctica is huge. First of all, so you'd have to have a very long range.
Right.
And here's the other thing: being a flat earther, like, what part of Antarctica are they really at? So if Antarctica is actually a circle that goes around the whole edge of the Earth, where are they really at? Do we really know where they're actually flying to in Antarctica? The actual location? It's huge. I don't know.
You're right. It's like a whole continent, right? I mean, assuming it's the globe Earth model of it, but perhaps bigger than that, though. I mean, because it's like if you get like an ice wall model, then it's humongoid. It goes all the way around.
Right, and I mean, I don't know. Antarctica is one of those mysteries for me that I just have a hard time grasping my mind around what it is that actually doing that. All I know is that it's not good. Whatever they're doing is not good, and definitely not, probably not right with God, I would think. We were looking at the people that go there, that's my opinion. I don't know, but I mean, I mean, you got like the most famous thing about Antarctica is the guy that went there and said he went through a like a I don't know, was a tunnel or something, and there was like a whole nother world on the other side, right? Like,
Mm.
I don't know what does that mean then? Is that true or not? Or yeah, Admiral Byrd. I mean his testimony, but again, if we look back, he's an admiral.
What he got his
The
fleet.
Navy. Therefore, I mean, you got to just look at it that way. Like, are we to assume then back in 1947, admirals weren't part of the system? Well, we know they started CERN in 1950. We know Tesla was before that. We know, all these things. We know all the way going back to Egypt days. So what are we, are we to assume that back then, oh, it's only now, today, that people are in high leaderships are corrupt? No, they've been corrupt all along. So whatever Admiral Byrd has to say, I think that is part of what information they decide to give us, and part could be truth, part could be lies.
What about this? Is going to sound outlandish, but like, but what about this? What if like if you knew someone who's like super tech savvy, right? And they like made like a drone that looked like a penguin or something, right? And then and right like but was robotic and all that you had like a that you could be launched and then land there, yeah, kind of take pictures and whatnot, and then swim back or whatever, I mean it's a long way, but
Well, I see where you're going at. I mean, I like your thought on that, but I don't think it's going to be something necessarily that you'd be able to see by plane. I don't think. I think there's I don't know, like Medela Miles, like underground city. I think it's not going to be out in the open. I think,
underground somewhere is what you're saying.
and remember, they have the ability to cloak. They've been having that ability. So whatever it is that's there, you're certainly not going to be able to see it anyway.
So right, spying penguins, right?
Right?
Right.
Right.
Like their head pops up, like going 360 degrees around looking
Right.
over.
You'd have to do like a group of them, right? Because you just can't have one penguin out there by itself.
Right. Or we could all,
Group.
how about this? We could all dress up like penguins, right? And then like swim over there, right? All
Right.
covertly, right? Just kind of blend in with the other ones, trying to find out what's going on.
Or, yeah, you want to do penguins. You wouldn't want to do like a polar bear because they'd be like,
when we might get raped by another polar bear, right?
it would be like, oh, that's a prize.
Right. Or they're like, damn, those are some big ass penguins, man. Where those penguins come from, right?
Right. That's hilarious.
Well, I'm thinking of Madagascar. Have you seen that movie, Madagascar? They had the penguin.
Oh yeah. Smile away, boys. Smile away.
Right.
I used to always tell that to my coworkers when they like
smile and wave.
Start complaining about like the boss getting on them or something. I'm just like, look, just whatever. Like they're gonna bark, bark, bark. Just smile and wave, and then when they're done, they're gonna walk away, and then you just get back to what you're doing. You got it. Okay, you want me to do what? Okay, gotcha. Bye. Thank you. Smile and wave.
Right, that's how it goes to certain places. Like, especially like, work for like a really big place, you can kind of get lost in the shuffle. Versus like when like a really like a mom and pop store or something, like they're gonna be up your butt every 2 minutes about something.
Right.
man.
There's like I don't know, for some reason it reminded me of like waiters and waitresses. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
right,
And like I get like it's part of their job to come back and check and see uh, how your food is.
right, uh-huh,
I just have two complaints about it.
okay. What's
I'm
that?
not a complainer.
Uh-huh,
One is you only need to ask me once.
uh-huh, right,
Like it's not gonna. I'm not gonna change my mind 4 bites into it.
yeah,
When you ask me at like bite two,
okay,
all right.
uh-huh,
And the other one is if you see me just take a bite, whatever, fork full, whatever, don't ask me. I got a mouthful of food. Like, do you do that on purpose? Like, you take a bite and you're like, how do you like it? You're like, you can't even answer. Like, they must do that on purpose because I can't even answer you because I got a mouthful of food.
yeah. Well, I mean, well, I'm eating. If I didn't like it, you think I would say something, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't, you know, I'm not, I kind of hate going out to eat for that reason too. That and what really annoys me is like though I'll go like uh I I don't have fast food very often, but when I do, like if I go get a pizza or something, and I buy it, and then they have this thing at the end. It's like, well, how much do you want to tip? I'm like, what? You're not serving it to me. You're not like handing me a Coke and filling my glass for me. Why would I? That to me is annoying, a little obnoxious that
Yeah,
they.
well, I think that I know what you're talking about, and that's just how their receipts are set up
Uh,
for people that are actually, maybe ate in the restaurant. But
mhm.
yeah, every time I go do a pickup or something like that, and there's
Yeah.
a tip, I just put zero. I mean, you didn't do anything, so
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is it that, and everywhere has them now? It seems
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, what? I mean, what? This is for like, it's not even in this context, but it's like everywhere is asking for tips now. I'm like, what? It just doesn't make, I hate that. I just despise that. Or I hate dealing with waitresses too. Like, because I'm a sensitive person. So I pick up on things people are thinking, all the time. Like especially if I'm face to face to somebody, like they don't realize they're giving me a lot of information about themselves with
Uh,
saying very little to me, right?
I'm the
And
same.
right, and so I try to play like I'm stupid half the time. I'm like, okay, you have to do that a little bit, like especially if you're that sensitive and you go out in the outside world, you're picking up on what everybody's thinking, and it's usually negative. So it's hard. It can be draining after a while. So, but when I deal with waitresses, then I've got to deal with all their psychology and everything that's going on with them, and it's for me that's kind of unpleasant. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Right.
rarely is it positive and someone is happy, and that's kind of for me. It's usually pretty rare for that. But I don't even mind if they're down, if they're at least honest about it or whatever. It's I just don't like dealing with that. I'd rather just cook for myself than have to deal with someone else's issues. You know what I mean? Rather just make a sandwich or something than have to deal with someone else. And then that combined with that's how they make their living, and you know what I
Uh,
mean, right?
well, that's very strange. I've actually, I think you're the only other person that has ever said that to me that's I can relate to because wow, I'm tripping out because I do the same thing, and you took a lot of words out of my mouth, which I'm kind of tripping on. Is yeah, people give away information that you just meet or even know with very few words,
Right,
and a ton of information. And I always looked at it as a gift. And you're right, it's annoying as hell because usually what you see is what they're hiding,
right.
and that is always the crap. And I have to tell you, I've talked about this before on stream. I don't know if you heard or not. Is that growing up, um, I chose to ignore it because I found myself being too uh, judgmental on everybody, you
Hmm.
know. And then as I got older, it wasn't even until maybe maybe 8 years ago, I started looking at it a different way, going, wait a minute, this is a gift, and use it for good, and don't get all wrapped up in all the crap you see because, well, for God's sakes, we all have crap we don't want people to know.
Right. Right.
And
True.
that we're not any better than that person.
True. True.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it causes that conflict of why are you hiding that from me? Why? Like I could see it. Why do you hide that?
Right.
Like it's right through you, and then you don't realize, like, well, I'm sure I'm hiding my shit, and they
Right.
don't have
I
to
know
see.
exactly what you're saying too. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Because what you're
Right.
saying is right. So I get it. That's the conclusion you have to naturally come to. Because you're like, you know what? Once you see the transparency of everybody else, and you realize, oh my God, all this rotten stuff everywhere, and that you come to that conclusion eventually. Then you're like, but then what the deeper understanding is what you're talking about. That still water basically is. You're like, well, then look, if you sometimes the deepness isn't from the depth of the water, but it's from the surface, because you're like, wow, that's where I see myself in there. And you say, well, I do things that are wrong too, etc. So when I look at humanity as a whole, and I see all the filth that's in it, I realize maybe my own reflections in there too. So it kind of gives you perspective on everything, sort of, right?
Right. It is, and it's a wow. It's a once you grasp it, it's an amazing gift. It's a phew. I gotta tell you, man. When I don't know how long have you had it, Mike?
Uh, I don't know. Like it's like I guess starting from like maybe being a teenager and stuff, a little bit before that, but um, it's just, I've gone through meeting a lot of tons and tons and tons of people. And then after a while, you start seeing the pattern, like you start seeing the way people, like someone when they're lying, they'll rub their nose, or they, like people don't realize there's like a very finite number of things people can do. And
Well, I
right.
mean, it's not. I mean, that's the thing it doesn't even matter what comes out of your mouth. I mean,
Mhm.
you could sit there and sing uh, over the rainbow for all I care.
Yeah.
When I ask you a question, I'll know on you know body language, and that's something that's common. A lot of people can look into,
Yeah.
but another thing is tone.
Like you can figure out from talking to me or someone else, you can hear you have to go by their vocal patterns and one, but you do the same thing. It's just different, right?
The other thing is the words they use,
Uh huh.
because truth is simple, lies is complex.
Yeah, you made that's a
The
great
words
point.
that are used will tell
Uh
you a lot
huh.
of where they're going. And the other thing that is crazy is that all I have to do is know is meet somebody, right?
Uh huh.
And when you first meet somebody and you introduce yourself, and then they say their name,
Uh huh.
I'm so bad with names because I'm not even taking in what their name is. I'm this is completely natural. It's not on purpose. I have no control over it. This is what really trips me out.
Yeah.
I know it's been after years of analyzing this, actually, to actually get to this point to be able to sell this, is that what I know is that answer that they give me when they tell me their name is the simplest truth. Simplest truth. Not too many people are going to lie about their names.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not
Right.
too many. Sure, some people do. Not too many.
Uh huh.
So I'm taking in everything when they
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't
Right.
do it on purpose, Mike. I don't.
You can't
That
help it. It's what once you had that, it's not like you can turn it off. You still take it all in. You know what I mean? Like even if you wanted to like tune out and think about the baseball game or whatever, right? You don't have a choice. When someone's talking to you, you absorb it. It's not like you could turn off wisdom. You know what I mean?
right.
It is what it is. It'd be like saying you walk outside and just tell yourself you don't feel it's freezing cold outside. You can't do that. It's just it makes you
Yeah,
think
can't
sometimes,
do it.
right? Sometimes being oblivious would be nice, though.
I used to think that. I used to wish I couldn't do it. And, it's so simple. I mean, when you get to know somebody, strangers is one thing. I mean, I could sit there, me and you might should hang out sometime because we could just sit. We can go people watch, dude. And I do that. I could tell you the whole life history based off just their body language, the way they walk, and how they are interacting with people.
I'm not that exact. Well, you know what I can do is I can't do all that, but like if with a little more information, I can.
Right, but I'm saying like when you, I don't know, I could do that. And I have fun with it sometimes. But once you get to know somebody, right? All you need to do, really, it's so simple. Is know when they're telling the truth, or knowing knowing the answer to a question. If you know an answer to a question, and you ask that question, whatever they answer, whether they lie or tell the truth, as long as you know the answer to the question, and it doesn't have to be. It could be. Maybe you have like met somebody and you're hanging out, but you had no idea what. Maybe where they say you meet somebody and you find out where they lived before they moved here.
Okay.
And you ask them, "Hey, where'd you live at before you moved here?" Whatever they answer is going to give you all the knowledge you need from there on out on every question you ever ask them. Right? It's just one question that you know the truth to. That's why when I look back and it comes down to somebody saying their name, for some reason I've been able to pinpoint it down just to that one answer of when I first meet them in their name, on picking up on that. So yeah, and they tell you, well, I used to live in Idaho, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It looks like you used to live in Washington. You don't. The thing is, you never tell them. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Never give away you know. Never ever let them know when you catch them in a lie.
Oh man, I remember, like, check this out. You're gonna get a kick out of this. Like long time ago. There was I was in an apartment, and there was this girl downstairs who she had a crush on my friend, right? And and my friend was kind of, he'd done some very uncool things to me, and so I was like, you know what, that is not good. And then this woman came over to me, and she's like, you know what, hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. How are you doing, right? And she's like, let's where's I'll call him Stan. Where's Stan at? I go, oh, he's down by the river. So I live by the American River in Sacramento, right? And she's like, well, hey, she's all playing up to me, right? She's like, hey, why don't you let's go down and talk to him, whatever, right? And I didn't have a car at the time, so we had to walk. It was a little bit of walk, like probably maybe a quarter mile or something, right? And because I was on at the time that my apartment was on, was it Folsom Boulevard? I think it's Folsom. I can't remember now.
Folsom, where J ends.
It's kind of like Folsom and Watt Avenue. You know how like Watt and Folsom, like they kind of cross right there, right? And so,
by Man Love.
Yeah, right by Man Love, but further down, right? And further towards Folsom, and so in the La Riviera area, and so I was like, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll walk you down to the river to show you where he's at, which is like, for me, that's a long walk, right? And this woman thought that she was using me, right? And I played along. I'm like, yeah, sure, honey, I'll do anything for you, right? And I knew that the friend, which wasn't really a friend, had another woman that he was with at that moment, right? So this woman thought she was using me, that she's gonna, that I'm just gonna be a sucker and walk her for like however far it is, taking some 20 minutes or more out of my time to go down there, and didn't realize that that I was setting her up, that I was actually using her when she thought she was using me, and right. And then I'm like, hey, here he is, Harry. There you go, right? And then sit back, enjoy a beer, and watch the show.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know what happens when we reverse it?
What's that?
We are called manipulators. When we manipulate the manipulator,
All right.
we get targeted as a manipulator. And it's like,
Yeah.
why am I a manipulator? Because I didn't allow you to manipulate me?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and really, all they're doing, all I did was do what this person asked me to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, it is what it is. But you know what? The funny bad thing about it goes into revenge and all that, which I'm trying to not do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we probably have that in the past too, where you want to find justice in the world. You want to make everything right with a quickness. You know what I mean? And it's that instinctual thing. I mean, when you go through stuff we've been through, it's part of who you are. So, but I get spiritually though, it's better to just to forgive though. Like you're saying, like the guy who cuts you off in the freeway or wherever, or the past, maybe we gave him the finger or whatever. Where now it's better to forgive that person, right? There's a lot of spiritual strength that comes from that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
I won't lie and say that sometimes by taking the high road in certain situations, I know it annoys the person because I'm not giving into them. And I know by not giving in to them, it actually pisses them off more.
Right, it's not getting a reaction out of either side.
One of those like, am I doing this just take the high road, or am I doing this really because I know it's going to piss them off more? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Kind of, to me, it's a win-win.
Yeah, for sure. And having that ability, it's not always a negative thing, right? It's not always like everybody's got their skeletons or what they're hiding or whatever, which to some extent is true. There's definitely a lot of truth in that way of looking at the world. But like you said, it is a positive thing too, because then you can see when somebody is upset about something, you're the person who can interpret it before anyone else knows it's even there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, So I'm sure you're like me then, where you meet people, whether you've known them for a while or you just meet them, and they're just at the end of the conversation, like, I can't even believe I just said all this to you. I don't even tell my friends this stuff.
Yeah, I get that a lot too. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too is that another positive way to use it too is like when you see more potential in a person than they see in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that many times. Like, I'll give you an example. So we're at a couple of my friends want to go out to a bar. I wasn't in the mood. I mean, let's put it this way. I went out in shorts, flip-flops, and I had a hoodie sweatshirt on.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't feel like going out tonight. I'm like, come on, let's go, let's go. They're all dressed and everything. I'm like, whatever. I know where we're going. I know there's like an outside lounge area by a fire pit.
Yeah.
That I can just sit back, relax. So I was sitting back, relaxing, and I'm watching this, this young lady work the room, and she's selling the purple Hooter, the tube shots,
Okay. Uh-huh.
And they're like $1 a piece or something.
Right on.
And I'm watching her, and now she's getting closer, and I can hear her speech. And I'm like, huh, this job's way beneath this girl. Like, no fucking way, right?
Right.
And so she comes over and she asked me, and I'm like, hey, I just got to be honest with you. I've been watching you walk around and try to sell these tube shots. She's like, yeah. I'm like, first of all, what the hell are you doing selling this? This is way beneath where you need to be. Like, this is ridiculous. Right? I mean, I was just front with her, like right at her. She's like, really? She's like, you're not gonna believe this. Like, my boss keeps telling me that. I'm like, yeah. And second of all, quit. You make money on how many you sell, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, stop with the look. You have the ability to outsell this shit in a heartbeat. You do. She's like, you think so? I'm like, look, the next person that you talk to, I want you to sell 2 shots to them, not 1, 2. She's like, what? I'm like, nah, that's it. I want you to sell 2 shots to the next person that you talk to about selling a shot of these. Well,
Yeah.
how? I said, I'm not going to tell you how. You know how. Go do it. Okay. Went over. Look, yeah. She sold 2 shots to him. She came back, dude. She was fucking, I ain't lying, in tears. I ain't lying, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ain't lying. I mean, I wasn't doing it to pick up on her. She was, or anything. I'm like, look, you're way below your level of ability. You're a smart girl. I could tell the way how you interact with people that just the right level of tone, words, certain flirtation or not. You've got the fucking ability to do more than go be at work at a bar selling shots, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept in touch with her, and she actually quit the job and got another job, paying twice as much money. I think it was like within a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, using this ability, this gift for good. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I was getting at earlier, is that too many times you just see the bad part. Like, I think when you see the good side, it's worth it. It's
It
worth it.
is. It is. Yeah, you catch that too, don't you? Like where you have you find people that are like this is where I'll see too is like sometimes you get people where they'll do this. They'll be more worried about the people around them than themselves. You get that a
Right.
lot, right? That kind of person, they're rarer, but that's really cool when you find somebody like that. That's like with their it's kind of hard. It's almost like anti-instinctual or something, but they're so concerned about the people around them. That kind of is fun when you run into somebody like that.
No, you're right. And, when you find people that, I think what's most important is that if somebody does something for you without you asking and expecting anything in return,
Mm-hmm. That's the clicker
that
right there.
is amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's all about motivation, right? Like what someone's really after. Like not everything that seems nice is really nice.
Right. Well, I'll give you an example that just happened to me. So I have a good friend I've known for over 30 years. And, my financial struggles I've had after the last job bailed on me out of the territory. So my lease is up.
Uh-huh.
And they're struggling with me to get refinanced for a new lease, another car. And at one point, she's like, "Well, can you get a cosigner?" I'm like, "Fuck, I'm at life at this age where I need a fucking cosigner? Are you fucking kidding me, man?" So anyway, my friend he lives in Idaho. He hit me up and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? You know, what's going on?" And I was just telling him like, "Man, I'm trying to get my lease redone, and now they're telling me I need a co-signer, and I don't know. I think I'm just going to try to. Maybe I'll just take the bus to work for a while till I can save up enough money to get like a cheap car or something. I don't know, man." And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "I'll co-sign for you." I'm like, "What?"
Sweet.
He's like, "Yeah, have him call me, send the paperwork over." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, and he goes, and here's the ironic part. He co-signed for one other person one time, and he got fucked over on it.
Wow.
And he still offered it to me.
Nice.
Now, what does he get out of it? Well, there's nothing positive for him on it.
Right.
There's only
Alter it.
something, nothing or bad, nothing positive. So that to me is like huge. I mean, that's like, when people do that, on the other hand, when people do something for you, we know those people, right? Like, hey, I made you dinner tonight. Oh, sweet. Right? And then like 2 days later, it's like, throw it in your face. Well, I made you dinner the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, you know what? I really appreciated that, but right now, since you threw it back in my face, it doesn't mean shit anymore. Really. Obviously, you obviously did it for alternative reasons. Then, like, what do you want?
Right.
So you made me dinner. So now what do you want? What is it you're asking for?
Right.
Because you made me dinner.
That's even more. I hate that because, like, if you want something, that they should say, put it like in terms, like, if I do this for you, will you do this for me? Rather than I'm going to do something I choose to do for you, then I'm going to choose what you're going to do for me in return or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's really kind of underhanded.
Yeah, those people are selfish. They're selfish, and they don't do things for people out of for any other reason to gain something. I don't do anything for somebody ever. I'd be honest with you. I don't do anything for people with any expectation to get something in return. I don't. Because in my world, I'm doing it for the wrong reason. And be honest with you, I'm not going to do something for somebody if well, it's kind of hardcore. Unless I really care about them. I mean, I'm pretty selective on what I do for people. I'm not, I'm selective on who I do what with. And I'm not that person that everybody can call up and I'm going to be right there. No, I'm not. That's kind of the asshole side of me, I guess. But there's other people that like fucking I'll jump off a bridge for. Other people's like, you need a ride where? What time? I haven't heard from you in like 3 months and you're calling me up at fucking 11 o'clock at night. What? No. No. Sorry, man. Sorry.
Right. Sorry.
Sorry, man.
Like, oh wait, was the guy from the Simpsons or not Simpsons, but Family Guy is like, oh no, right?
Seriously, I'm like, dude, you haven't been in my life for 3 months and now you're gonna come in because you need something? You need a ride? Like, really? Like, no, leave my number, dude. Like, either in my life or out of my life. There's no fucking, not just around every once in a while when you need fucking something. I actually, man, that's another thing I've done too, Mike, is since 2015 when I became awake, I cut so many fucking people out of my life that
Wow.
are nothing but fucking selfish,
Uh-huh.
one-sided, me's.
Uh-huh.
And even though I love them and care about them,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you know what? I call it pruning the rose bush. You got to
Yeah.
prune the live branches to make that rose bush grow. And man, I tell you what, after I did that, it's amazing like how much uh, negativity was out of my life. Like you know, it's crazy. People that I've known, some people, 15 years plus, like done. They don't. The thing is, they never get it. They didn't even understand. They don't even understand, which I understand. They don't understand because I
Right.
was always in there,
Yeah, it's
right?
a long time to know someone, Cowboy. Like 15 years. It happens though, right? I mean, you just yeah, I've done that too. It's not easy, but it just is what it is, man. There's like a you just get to the point, right, where you realize, you know what, I care about you as a person, the person I'm cutting off. But you know what? I just can't allow you to do this to me anymore. You know?
Right?
Yeah, I get it. And they don't even. Yes, I don't know. That's just a tough one. It is what it is.
But you know what I also found out by doing that is what I discovered is when you cut these people out, right? Even though you know them for a long time,
Hmm.
what I've noticed is they've never tried to make things right. They never reached back out. They never, you know what I mean? They just disappear. So
Right.
it tells you like I cut out the right person. I
Yeah.
mean, because if they really cared, or if they were really, who they say they were in this friendship,
Yeah.
they would have been like, hey man, I know, it's been a couple of weeks, but what's going on, man? No, nothing. Yeah, I cut out the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. So like a surgical maneuver, but this doesn't make it any easier though. It just is what it is.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. No,
You
believe me. I mean,
you know,
it's almost harder on me than them, obviously, because they're able to like whatever, and I'm the one who's like, man,
it's
you know,
kind of reminds me of like a. Some people say the glass is half full. Some people say the glass is half empty. Sometimes it's both, though. I mean, just because it's half filled doesn't make you forget it's half empty. You know what I mean? It's
I,
right.
well, just to go off of that, I'm sure you're probably sounds like you're a lot like me. So, um, I forgive. I have no problem forgiving. I could pretty much forgive um, everything. I really that's happened. That's come across me. I can't. Um, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna be friends
Hmm.
with them,
Yeah,
or sometimes I'm just saying like just because I forgive doesn't mean that I allow things to happen. Like I could forgive. I could forgive. Even if I forgive for something that was done, that might be something not so serious enough to where you cut people out of your life. Um, I never forget. I never forget.
yeah. I heard. I understand. Cowboy, I want to call it night though, brother. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get.
I,
Hey, thanks for having me on though. That was an interesting conversation we had. It's funny
yeah.
how similar we are in some ways, for sure.
Oh, definitely. And Colin's leaving. Good night, Colin. I don't know if anybody else is still here, but if anybody else is still here, good night. And yeah, we had fun. I know that I talk like a crazy nut sometimes, but that's what I am, and I'm here with the biggest nut of all.
I understand you. See, that's the cool part. When you're talking about things, I totally get where you're coming from on it. That's
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know we had that much in common. We're gonna have to talk more offline about shit like that. That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, Okay. Hey, until next time.
All right.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on. All right. Take care.
All right.